I am Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I hope you guys will hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff as we get started. I'm going to go and dig up this article about Donald Trump that I thought was really interesting. I had some people ask me about it. You guys reached out, and you guys always ask me about stuff and what my thoughts are. So I always enjoy kind of providing a little perspective on it. As I get started, I want to say hello to El Haj and Steph. Is that Steph Bell? Steph Bell. There we go. Jamie Wooden. What's going on? Yeah. Okay. So let me just cut to the chase. Tell me yes or no. Did you hear what Donald Trump said about African Americans? He was holding a rally for Black people in the White House, and he said some things that kind of raised some eyebrows. Give me a yes or no in the chat if you know what I'm talking about, and because I think that there's some things to unpack here. There's a little bit of analysis that can be done where we can all kind of learn and grow, as opposed to having a knee-jerk reaction. Or I see Orlando and Dallas and a lot of other cities. Okay, so I see a few of you don't know. Okay, so let me tell you what happened. All right, so here we go. All right, so hit the thumbs up button first, please, so that helps more people come into the chat and sends out more notifications when we go live. So please do that. I got a few minutes before she got me running 10 miles tonight. We're doing our first marathon ever next week, so y'all need to pray for me, man, because I am sweating over this sucker. 26 miles is a long way. Anyway, all right, so here's what I'm reading. Donald Trump basically told a bunch of his Black supporters that you built this nation. He said this at a leadership summit. And there were about 300 Black folks. See, that's a Freudian slip, I think. I said 300 white folks. 300 Black people gathered with Trump. And basically, he was speaking at the Young Black Leadership Summit. And there were lots of people that support him. He basically, I guess, searched under every rock and in every corner of the universe to find Black people who have his back. And he found some. Now, here's the thing, right? I know Black people who support Trump, and I don't think they're all coons. Let me just make that clear before I even begin. Let me just say that, if you guys want to know where I stand politically, I don't vote Democrat. I don't vote Republican. I vote for Black people, period. The coonery expands across all major political parties, and I'm not a fan of any of it, in terms of me believing somehow that voting for one politician or the other is going to change the state of my community. I just don't believe that. You have to convince me. Doesn't mean I can't be convinced. My mind is open. Show me evidence. Show me proof. Show me progress. Don't show me bullshit. Because, I got a PhD. I ain't stupid. They don't hand out PhDs from the Ohio State University for nothing, right? We didn't get doctorates for being dumb. I got my PhD because I know how to analyze and break things down in a way that you will have no idea how many trillions of calculations my brain goes through just to say hello. Okay, so let's just be clear. I ain't stupid, but you got to give me evidence. So anyway, so Trump basically gathered his Black supporters, and they're playing this interesting little game with Black people. Where it's sort of like right now, usually basically anybody ever see those old Blaxploitation movies? I don't know if it was Superfly or The Mac, where there's the part where the two pimps are fighting over a prostitute. Like one guy stole somebody's hoe, and the other pimp looks at the other one and says, "Yo, bitch chose me," right? And he's like basically saying like I'm her pimp now. I'm gonna be the pimp. Right. Well, for Black people, that's kind of what the Democrats and the Republicans kind of do. Right. They kind of get in each other's face and be like, yo, bitch chose me. Right. And really, at the end of the day, the issue is, that you got to understand why they're going to fight for your vote, because your vote does matter. Right. You tend to vote as a block. The goal of the Democrats is to keep you consistently unified to support the Democratic Party without asking any questions, without even opening your mind, without even feeling comfortable deviating from groupthink, right? You are supposed to stay with the other sheep. And if you run away from the other sheep, then you're going to be punished. They're going to ostracize you, ridicule you, bully you, and make fun of you. Fortunately for us, unfortunately for them, that's not working as much anymore, right? Like you saw the Revolt Summit, which I thought I'm putting on my socks because we're about to run a little bit. The Revolt Summit to me was an excellent display of Black independent thought. I didn't really give a shit if they were Democrats, Republicans, independents, or otherwise. I just like the fact that Black people were able to have a debate without everybody coming up with the same goddamn conclusion. Like I was just happy to see black people. I mean, you talk about unity. People say there ain't no black unity. Well, I'm sorry. When it comes to we might not have uniformity, but we got cuneiformity when it comes to our political choice. Like we are cuneiformly in check when it comes to consistently doing the same thing and not even allowing each other to even question what you're supposed to do. Right? The cuneiformity comes in where we get to every election and people scream and holler like the Democrats ain't doing nothing for us, this ain't right, blah, 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 blah. And then those voices get shut down. And they get shut down not just, in terms of people bullying those who deviate, right? But also in terms of how the media operates. Basically, the Democratic Party from the very top goes down and says, okay, we're going to buy up all the black urban radio stations. We know these Negroes need money. So to maintain cuneiformity, we are going to go and buy airtime on all these radio stations that are desperate for money. So because when you're desperate, see, the only thing worse than being a hoe is to be a hungry hoe. Only thing worse than being a hoe is to be a desperate hoe. The only thing worse than being a hoe is to be a broke hoe. If you're a broke ass hoe, then you have no power, right? So black people, from a political standpoint, politically speaking, we're kind of a bunch of broke ass hoes. We don't, our businesses are struggling. Our media, they can barely pay the bills and all this other stuff. So basically they say, okay, just sprinkle a couple dollars on, throw in some Popeye's chicken, and we can get these radio stations in check. Now, why do I know this? Well, because I see a few things that happen behind the scenes. I remember a rapper, very prominent rapper told me that he went onto a radio station and they told him, you cannot mention Bernie Sanders at all. If you mention Bernie Sanders at all, we will shut your interview down immediately, right? And so basically what is done is you have a political machine that's designed to control exactly what you do. So, I kind of just like anything that deviates from the norm. And so what's interesting about this Trump statement, so Trump made the statement that basically, just a quick little, relatively meaningless remark. It's meaningful, but it's meaningless, right? It's meaningful, but it's meaningless. It's meaningful because we know black people built the country. Black people were the ultimate form of wealth. Black people are the reason America became the wealthy country that it is. That is as clear as the day is long. That is as clear as my skin is brown or golden brown. That's what my baby says to me. That's golden brown. So that's pretty clear. That's very, very clear. But it doesn't mean a whole lot when Trump says it. Right? Because, what is Trump? Is Trump the demon that so many people believe him to be? I don't think that. I don't believe that. I don't, because to me, you confuse me when rappers 5 years ago, rappers were rapping about Trump, taking pictures with him, putting them in their lyrics, happy to go on his show. And then a few years later, suddenly he's the Antichrist. I just can't do that. I can't do, like, I have friends. You ever have friends who date somebody and then they're telling you how wonderful they are and how perfect they are, and then they start telling you that the person's a complete piece of shit, right? Like, oh my God, let me tell you what he did. He did this. He punched me. He stabbed me. He stole my dog. He peed on my cat, right? And you're like, oh my God, he peed on the cat. You need to die. That's a terrible man, right? And then 2 weeks later, they're like, oh no, we're in love again. We're in love again. So I need you to forget everything I told you for the last 3 weeks. I can't do that. I can't. When you go up and down, and keep changing your tune on a person, I get very confused. Like, my thing is like, be consistent. And why are you not consistent? What happened that made you inconsistent? And black people, I think prominent celebrities were not consistent when it came to their portrayal and perception and association with Donald Trump. Years ago, I remember when Trump was admired by a lot of rappers and a lot of black celebrities. I remember when Trump was taking pictures with Diddy. He was taking pictures with Al Sharpton. He was taking pictures with, a lot of prominent black people, right? And then now it's like he's the Antichrist. But if he had run as a Democrat, he'd be your friend. You'd be telling me to vote for him. You'd be telling me to give him your support if he ran. Because remember, Trump actually said years ago when he was on the Oprah show, if I'm not mistaken, that he will probably run as a Democrat. Right. So I'm willing to bet you this. And I don't know, you guys can tell me if you agree or not. I'm willing to bet you that if Trump had ran as a Democrat, he wouldn't be sort of labeled the way he's labeled, given that he's run as a Republican, right? So we've gotten to the point where you're allowing the political parties to shape how you view a person. That's very, very dangerous, because what you're doing is you're allowing them to shape how you think. You're allowing them to decide what your opinion is going to be for you. I see a whole lot of racists in the Republican Party. I see a lot of racists in the Democratic Party. I see good people in the Republican Party. I see a few good people in the Democratic Party. Right. And what I think about you as a person doesn't have anything to do with your political affiliation. I listen to your ideas. I pay attention to your courage. I pay attention to how much you care about this country. I pay attention to how intelligent you are about the issues that African Americans are confronting and how we're going to solve these issues, right? So I don't put Trump at either end of the spectrum on the whole black sensitivity conversation, right? I don't put him on the extremely good end or the extremely bad end. He's just a typical white capitalist who, probably has a narcissistic personality disorder. He also is a nationalist. He is an extreme nationalist. What does that mean? A nationalist basically is just somebody who just wants America to be first all the time. A nationalist is like, let's shut down the borders. We don't want a bunch of foreigners up in this mug. This is our country, right? So build a wall, right? A nationalist is somebody who says, oh, let's put tariffs on foreign goods because they should be made in America. We need to make our trucks in America again. We need to reopen the factories there, which ain't gonna happen, by the way. Because the problem is Trump's nationalism is contradicted by his capitalism, right? And the capitalist in him wants the stock market to be as high as it's ever going to be. He wants to make as much money as he ever could. He wants to do business with Russians and Chinese and anybody he wants to do business with. So Trump's nationalism is really the dog whistle he's using to maintain his political power. So so all this idea that he's appealing to those who love white America and want to make America white again, that's absolutely 100% fundamentally true. Now, the reason you don't hear me criticize that too much is because if I saw a black man who was advocating and fighting and getting black people to really rally behind him, I wouldn't be mad at that, right? I don't have a problem when people advocate for the people that they connect to. I don't have a problem when an Asian person says, I support the strength of Asian people, right? I don't have a problem when a man from Latin America says, I want the Mexicans to be better off than everybody else. That doesn't bother me, right? I'm not going to go along with that agenda, but I'm not going to see that as a threat, right? So Trump is kind of just the white male version of that. The reason it's not acceptable when a white male does it is because historically white men have had so much power that you're kind of like, wait, y'all have already been running the whole damn world. Like you could say, you can say black power, but you better not say white power, right? But here's the thing though, right? I'm also a believer in freedom of speech and freedom of thought, freedom of expression. So the reason you don't hear me get upset when a white guy says white power is because I don't want anybody to tell me there's something wrong with me when I wear a shirt that communicates black power. I don't want nobody telling me that something's wrong with me wearing this shirt. I don't want nobody telling me that, Boyce, you're a racist, sir. You're wearing this black power shirt, and we just all agreed in America that everybody's the same color and race does not exist. And if you acknowledge race, that makes you a racist too. I don't want that. I don't want that. So I'm okay with people having freedom of speech. Just don't fuck with me. Like, don't come up in my house and mess with my kids. Don't try to come take my money. If I go read a book and want to go learn, don't tell me I can't read. Don't tell me I can't go start a business. Don't mess with me and we good, right? Like, you stay over there with your white power shit. Go get you a farm and whatever y'all do over there, right? That's fine. I don't care. And I'm going to go over here with my people and we're going to do what we do. Because I'm going to tell you, I haven't bought into the whole integration bullshit dream. I just haven't. I think it's stupid. I watch Van Jones go on CNN and try to politely explain away. I guess I don't know, I don't know what flavored tampons he's using that day, but he's literally sounding very, very, very wussy-like, kind of explaining why it was okay for this guy to go in the courtroom and forgive Amber Geiger for killing his brother. Like literally acting like that's not, you have to admire that level of forgiveness. No, we don't. You don't admire that shit. You can admire forgiveness, but you don't have to admire public displays of affection. Right? Public displays of I'm gonna kiss your ass because I want to get close to you and hug you and sniff your blonde hair in front of the cameras. Like that was not substantive forgiveness that you have when you really forgive something and forgive somebody and you let it go. That was, I'm going to do this in front of the cameras because I want everybody to know that how much I admire this white woman. I need the whole world to see me forgive her because right now I'm some sort of diva that wants everybody to know what I'm thinking. And I didn't agree with that. He's a kid. He's 18, right? So we can't be too hard on him. But that was off. That was bad advice. Whoever advised him to make him think that was okay, no, because your forgiveness is going to be used as a political football. They're going to take your forgiveness and the lawyers are going to use that when they try to take her up for parole, and she's going to get paroled in 3 to 5 years or whatever the number is, and she's going to get less time for murdering that man than people. I know people got popped on a drug charge in 1988 or non-violent, didn't hurt nobody, didn't even hurt no other drug dealers who are still in prison from 1988. So this lady gets 5 years after she kills somebody, and you're helping her escape, like because you just want to publicly forgive. No, the public display of affection was inappropriate. So again, this is not a diss on Van Jones. I'm just saying that, but I understand the game, right? In order for Van Jones to be on CNN and to have that job he has to come off as the gentle Negro. That's what they want. They want the gentle John. They don't want the black man that's really going to speak the clear language. They want the black man who's going to give them a nice, soothing message that's going to feel like lotion on their butt crack so that they can feel good about being white in this country. Well, I'm sorry, that's an issue. And you also have to think about this. This goes back to the whole Trump thing. This goes back to what I was talking about with Trump. Okay, so Trump is saying, black people built this country, which, I don't care if he says it or not, because I know black people built this country. I don't need him to. I don't really care if he acknowledges that, right? Like now, if he's investing in, if he really wanted to impress me, if Trump wanted to impress me, I would like to see where there specifically is targeted, 10, 20, 30, 40, $100 billion toward black owned businesses in black neighborhoods. That would impress me so much that I might consider even voting for him if he came up with $100 billion that went directly, where I saw the money go directly into black hoods, like some of these neighborhoods I go through when I'm traveling around the country that are absolute disaster zones. I would be very happy if he actually did something like that. I don't think he's going to do that though. But at the end of the day, I don't care if he acknowledges that my ancestors built this country. I know that they built this country. What I do think is fascinating, though, is I was trying to figure out if your buddy Barack Obama ever said anything like that, or if Barack Obama would consider a statement like that to be too controversial. I do wonder if Obama made the mistake of setting the bar so low that Trump only has to jump 2 inches off the ground to say, haha, I did more than you. I did more than you, right? Because here's the thing, right? Obama was scared to really be black. I mean, I understand you got to toe the line, you got to be careful, you don't want to get in trouble, right? Or whatever. But, at least with Trump, this guy doesn't care what you think about him. He's going to be who he is, period. Right. And I kind of would have loved it if Obama had a little bit of that in him. If Obama was willing to sacrifice a little political capital to tell the truth. Because here's a fact to it. And I dare y'all to contradict. I dare anybody in this room to contradict me on this. The whole Amber Geiger, pay attention now. You don't just learn from what people say, you learn from what they don't say. This Amber Geiger case has been one of the biggest cases in the country. Everybody's been talking about it. Everybody on my news feed, everybody on yes or no, have you seen this Amber Geiger, Bob and John situation going up and down your timeline for the last week? Yes or no? Has anybody else seen how much people have been talking about this case? Give me a yes or no if you feel like this has kind of dominated the conversation in the black community for the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Right? Think about this. So this has been dominating the black conversation. Everybody's been talking about it. It's on the tip of everybody's tongue. Everybody's talking about it at church. People talking about it at school. People talking about it with their families. People talking about it in their car on the way to work. People talking about it on their jobs. People talking about it on the basketball court. Every black person everywhere is talking about this. Why? Well, because black people are feeling some kind of way about this shit. They're feeling cheated. They're feeling angry. They're feeling hurt. They're feeling scared. They're feeling all kinds of reactions, emotional reactions as a result of what they just saw. They just saw a white female cop walk into a black man's house who's sitting in his drawers eating ice cream, and they saw him die. And then they saw his whole family run up and do a public display of affection to almost like they would like her less if she hadn't murdered their brother. Like if you hadn't killed my brother, I would not be hugging you. But since you killed him, let me give you a big hug and a kiss on the cheek to go with it. Right. So you saw all this, right? Black people are obsessed with this case. Black people are heavily affected by this case. If that's the case, then why have you not heard a single word about any of this from Barack or Michelle Obama? Why has Barack? What has Barack's public say? He sees his people, all these people that worship him like he's baby Jesus. I mean, literally, all these people bowing. Oh, Barack, Jesus, you is the answer to my prayers. Okay, well, if you're a leader, leadership is service. Service means that if the people that gave you your power that are idolizing you in that way, you're supposed to be there for them. They put you on the throne, bro. Like they gave you all their votes, all their time, took off work, probably got fired trying to go vote for you, probably got into fights over you. And when they need you the most, when they're really feeling emotional, when they're feeling just absolutely, when people are deeply concerned about what's happening in this country, you're nowhere to be found. I went to Barack Obama's Twitter account to see what he's been talking about, and I saw some post about the Beatles or something. Literally, he was posting about, he said, just like the Beatles, it's a great 35 years. And mind you, it's his anniversary with Michelle. That's beautiful. Black love, that's all great. But a lot of that stuff, unfortunately, that's driven by a symbolism. That's driven by, they're kind of becoming the black version of the Queen of England or whatever. The royal family is a lot of people can't stand the royal family in England because they're like, all you are little figureheads. You're just little statues that just sit there and people just look up and admire you because people need something to worship. But when it comes to really actually being involved in the day-to-day business of living in the United Kingdom, you're not really there, right? So the Obamas, if you look at what they tweet about, what they talk about, I saw Obama, I saw another tweet he had about climate change, and which is very safe. He tends to stay very, very safe. And I'm really curious to know if he would ever not be so safe all the time. I wonder at what point does a black man feel free enough where it's okay to not be safe, where it's okay to have a couple people mad at you because you're trying to do the right thing, or what do you actually care about? So at the end of the day, this is not to bash Barack Obama. My opinion was formulated actually when he got elected, like 2008, 2009. A lot of the things I'm saying today were very similar to what I've said back then. The only difference is that I think at that time I wanted to give him a chance to try to see what was actually going to happen, and I didn't see much. I saw a man though who maintained his composure. I saw a man that was very intelligent. I saw a man that represented, he was a good representation of the establishment. He wasn't going to go out and make the United States look stupid. He made the U.S. look better around the world. And for that, we should be proud of him. But in terms of having somebody that really gives a damn about you as black people, I know he's definitely not that guy. He's not that guy. And so the other mistake that Obama certainly made is that because he set the bar so low, because he ran and came in, so passively and so sheepishly when it came to any issue related to black people. I mean, I don't know if y'all know, but Michelle Obama, it was kind of crazy to me. Michelle, from what I read, the excerpts of Mrs. Obama's book that I read, when she wrote about Jeremiah Wright, I felt like she kind of threw him under the bus. And I just kind of thought, wow, like you could have just not mentioned his name, or you could have mentioned it briefly, but you really went out of your way. Like you really don't like this man. And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. It could be a personal thing. Maybe they're just mad because he upset the apple cart. But I thought that was kind of unfortunate and unfair when they will take people that actually are advocating for black people, people who ain't scared to be black. You have in this tradition, you have the Marcus Garvey types, you have the Jeremiah Wright types who just say I'm black and that's it. And you take these individuals and you not only do you not show up to advocate for those individuals, you tear down the individuals that are actually doing that work that other people wish that you would do yourself. They're doing 10 times more with 1/10 as much. And you're still for the sake of white supremacy, throwing those people under the bus too to maintain good composure with white folks. I'm not a fan of that. If you have an issue with Jeremiah Wright, just keep his name out your mouth. Go sit on the sidelines with the other cheerleaders and let the real players get out here and actually fight the battle, because somebody's got to fight the battle for the black community. I think that's so because here's the thing. The reason Donald Trump is making a laughing stock out of the Obama presidency, the reason Donald Trump is in your face clowning you with these little remarks every now and then, like black unemployment is lower under my administration than it's ever been. You guys built this country. I love my African-American friends. The reason he's clowning you is because he can easily walk back and say, I'm doing 100 things Obama never did. I'm mentioning black people. I mentioned the Chicago violence. Obama never mentioned that. Little kids getting their heads blown off 2 blocks from his house. I lived a block and a half from Obama, so I know that neighborhood very well. And this man ain't said nothing about it. Nothing. Those little white girls getting molested or beaten or something, like, they'd be all over that. If that was like some environmental climate change stuff, they'd be on it. If there was some gay kids getting beat up down the street, oh, they'd be all over that. That'd be a national crisis, right? But because Black people are a numerical minority, because we are not politically the political heavyweights on the block, you see a lot of Black issues kind of being pushed to the side, but you are still reliable when it comes to cuneiformity, not uniformity, cuneiformity, because they know that, look, they basically know that, look, we can pee all over Black people. We could do an R. Kelly on the whole Black community. And just like R. Kelly's little girlfriends, they're going to keep showing up in as a collective and giving us their vote. And so if you want to understand why I am so passionate about making it 100% clear that they can kiss my entire Black ass, it's because I want to break that cuneiformity. I'm literally coming in and saying, I'm a professor, so I'm smarter than most of you, right? I'm, I just like Obama had professors that taught him. I'm a professor and I analyze these things, and I'm here to tell you that that I don't think that what you're doing is right. It doesn't mean that you're bad people. It just means that you're kind of playing a game that I like breaking down for the public, so people will just kind of understand what you're doing and how you're manipulating them and how you're abusing and exploiting people, how you're getting them excited over the possibility and the hope that things will get better, when really we all know, and I know, that you could do another 10 years in office and that same neighborhood you live in Chicago is going to be exactly the same as it was when you started. So the question you must ask yourself at that point is, what are you really doing, and who are you doing this for? Because one of the challenges that Black people have that we got to deal with, and this is what Trump is taking advantage of, is he's taking advantage of the fact that you have no real leadership. You have no real leadership in your community in terms of individuals who say, I'm here for Black people and that's it. I'm going to advocate for Black people and that's it. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to fight for resources for Black people. And if you ain't got resources for Black people, don't ask for nothing from me. Don't ask for my vote. Don't ask for my support. You don't get that from the Congressional Black Caucus. You don't get that from a lot of your Black figures on TV. You don't get that from Black celebrities. You get a lot of people that feel comfortable neglecting the community because it's a self-esteem issue. Your self-esteem is so low that somebody can just come along and say, y'all built this country. Black people built this country. And you're like, yeah, oh my God, he said my name. He said my name. Right. And that's fine. That's OK. But in a way, it's funny. I'm gonna end with this point. Alicia just came in and wrote a note. She writes little notes for me to tell me when it's time to stop talking, because it's time for us to go. We're about to go do that 10 miles. But I watched the movie The Joker yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that movie. It's an excellent movie. It's very, very good. It's interesting because there's a lot of Black people in the movie. I thought that was really strange that there were like so many Black people in the movie. I just like, why do you all put Black people? I mean, you don't have Black people in all the other Batman movies and stuff, but this one, you got all these Black people, and it just happens to be when you're like, telling the story of a dirty, disgusting villain. I did a video on the Joker. If you want to check out my channel, drboycetv.com, you can go watch the video if you want. It wasn't an attack on the film. It was more so it's something I just observed. Well, anyway, when I was watching the Joker, one of the things about this Joker character that made him into Batman's arch rival, that made him into the movement of a counterculture, was that he lived in a world where he got tired of just being ignored. He tried to play by the rules. He tried to be part of the system, and the system kept spitting him out at every turn. He wasn't getting anything that he needed, and he was being disrespected every step of the way. And at the same time, there were these elites that were always sort of being loved and taken care of and being exalted and everything else and held in high esteem, and everyone paid attention to what they were doing. And he kind of resented that. So that led him to form a counterculture movement where now he's like, well, whatever the establishment is, I'm not going to be that. And in a way, I feel that Black people are in that position too. Maybe the reason they have so many Black people in the Joker movie is because Black people represent this massive, the smart, intelligent Black people represent a counterculture movement where individuals say, you know what, I'm not trying to be a part of this cuneiformity. I'm not here to just go along with the bullshit that you are feeding me over and over to keep me docile, calm, and quiet. And I don't like the establishment because you're using the hell out of me, but you're not giving us anything in return. You're not giving significant opportunities. You're kind of telling us that something's wrong with us and that we should just sit back, and our job is to sit back and idolize you. So as a result, what you have is you have the counterculture movements. Like a lot of the people that I notice that connect with me are the people who are just tired of the bullshit. That's what it is. So who knows? Maybe people like me are like the Joker to their Batman. I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, you got to really kind of understand that when you allow for that division to occur, that's when you're letting the Donald Trumps of the world come along and say, ha ha ha, I did two things for black people, but I did, you might complain, but I did more than Obama, didn't I? Obama never said that, did he? Right? And then black people are like, you are racist, I'm mad at you. And I'll be like, well, what makes him a racist? Because he said that. Because what he said, is it untrue? Did Obama say something we're not aware? No. But he's a racist. Well, why is he a racist? Well, because he wants to build a wall. Well, is he building a wall to keep black people out? Is that what? Did he build a Negro wall? Is that what happened? Show me where there's Negro walls at. I need to know where that is. It's the Mexicans. Well, I'm not Mexican. I'm sorry. There's no disrespecting them, but they're not Americans, right? They got Mexico. They got a country, right? We in America. They in Mexico, ain't nobody hating, but there's an immigration process. If I want to go to Mexico, I got to go through their immigration. I can't just walk across the border and act like it ain't no big deal, right? So my thought is, at the end of the day is, then they'll say, well, he told these congresswomen of color to go back to their country. I was like, yeah, that's because he's a nationalist and he doesn't like foreign people, period. But does he not like black people either? Yeah, I don't think he loves me. I don't think Trump loves black people. I really don't. I don't think he loves black people just because you're black. I'm just telling you that. That's 100% abundantly true. He probably wouldn't even like a guy like me. But here's the thing about a guy like Trump, or any politician for that matter. They like people who see the world the way they do. That's all it boils down to. Because you can't sit here and say Trump hates all black people, because he's got thousands of black people around him. Every time he holds a black rally, tons of people show up and say, I love him, I love Kanye West right now. I don't know if y'all noticed, but he's using his little gospel tour as a Trump promotion campaign. That's what I didn't know this, but I saw this because I saw him on Saturday Night Live, I think, wearing a MAGA hat. Then I saw him preaching about Trump, in a concert, and I was like, damn, wow, he's really using this. This is deep. And what he's doing is he's kind of playing the Democrats card a little bit, because he's kind of saying, who the fuck are you to tell black people who we got to vote for? Fuck you. Like, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm not a slave. And I'm like, yeah, actually, Kanye has a point. He might be crazy, but he's got a point. He is supposed to theoretically have a right. Like, they tell black people, well, you got freedom to do whatever you want, as long as you do what the fuck we tell you to do. No, that's not freedom. That ain't freedom. Freedom is not like, do what you want, unless you don't do what I tell you to do, then I'm gonna kick you in your ass. No. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. Trump is a guy, he's a typical white guy. He's not your friend, right? He's not your buddy, but he's a guy that he likes people who support his agenda. The Democratic Party is a party that likes people who support their agenda. Trump likes black people who will wear a MAGA hat and say, make America great again, and want to build a wall and whatever, right? And he treats them like damn near like family. I mean, he loves them. He hugs them and kisses them and has them at his house. He hangs out, probably has sex with him. Him and Omarosa. I was always wondering about that. I was like, okay, you love black women. That gives us one thing in common. I think black women are sexy too. So there you go. Okay, good for you. But then you go to the Democratic Party. And one thing y'all may or may not know, but here's the thing. On the left, they don't love everybody who's black. Did y'all know I got banned from Ebony magazine because I told black people to vote who they wanted to vote for. I never told black people not to vote. I just said, vote for whoever you want. Whatever party serves your interest, vote for that party, because I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I think the people that will decide the fate of black people are black people. That's what I believe. That's my philosophy. I have a right to that. And it's based on data and scientific analysis, not something I just pulled out of my ass, right? But literally, I wrote an article for a friend at Ebony magazine, and there was an editor, a high-ranking editor, and she told me her name. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to embarrass her. But she came back and said, we will not publish anything from Dr. Boyce Watkins. So I said, does that make you a racist? Do I come back and does that mean I get to say you hate all black people? Or maybe you just don't like me. And really, I kind of don't blame you, because, because you're basically, because I don't support your agenda. So if I were you, I probably wouldn't like me either. So we got to get past this whole idea that says, because you hate that black person right there, you hate all black people. That is not true. Or because you are mad at Mexicans, that you hate African Americans too. We ain't the fucking same. Stop that shit. We're not the same. Stop it. Just stop. It's stupid. It's the dumbest. I mean, it's just it blows my. Does anybody else even get a fraction of what I'm saying? Please let me know. I'm not the only crazy one here. Where you. It doesn't mean I think Trump is great, mind you. I'm not trying to say Trump is a good dude at all. I'm just trying to say that wall ain't got shit to do with me. It ain't got nothing to do. I got kids in Illinois, man. Ain't no walls in Illinois. Like, and it doesn't mean I don't care. It means I got bigger. But you know what they got in Illinois? They got I got friends in the state penitentiary doing 25 to life over something that happened, that a nonviolent crime in the 80s. Help me fix that. Help me solve that problem. That's what I'd like to see us talk about. I don't care about a wall. I just don't care about a wall. It does not matter to me. So stop trying to tell me he's a racist and he hates all black people because he wants to build your fucking wall. You're playing a game with my mind and I don't like it. I do not like it. It's like that movie X-Men. I watched this X-Men movie, and there was a lady there. I don't know if y'all watch X-Men. There's one guy that can read people's minds, and the lady was like, "Get out of my head! Stop it!" Right? I'm like, "Get out of my head! Stop trying to play with my mind, or I will crush you like the piece of shit that you are." Be honest with people. That's what you have to do. Be honest. Be honest. And again, I don't know. Maybe we'll hit one day. We're gonna hit. Here's the thing about the black community. I'm gonna say this, and I gotta go. One day, just like in computer science, they always talk about the singularity, where artificial intelligence is smarter than actual intelligence. One day, black people are gonna hit the singularity, the black singularity. The black singularity looks like. The black singularity is the day where the intelligent black people outweigh the cuniformity, the sheep. Right? When the intelligent, free-thinking black people outweigh the sheep, and people start to really question the mind games that you've been playing on the black community for a very long time. And again, mind you, I'm not here to tell you to vote for Democrats or Republicans. I don't do that. I'm not into that. Okay, so if you are a Democrat and you believe in that, then voting for them, then do it. Don't do it. I don't think I'm gonna be mad. I'm not mad at you. I swear to God, I'm not mad at you. But there's gonna be a day where that singularity is gonna hit. And people are going to really question, like, what are you doing to us? Like, why are you lying to us in this way? Like, why are you playing with us? Why are you trying to, it's all, when they tell me that the building the wall is the same as being racist against African Americans, or that LGBT not using not using the bathroom they want, or whatever, it's the same as like racism we experienced in the 50s. It's just one of the, it almost reminds me of when George Bush found out that Afghanistan bombed the World Trade Center and then said, let's go attack Iraq. And people were like, what does Iraq have to do with Afghanistan? And so the fact that he was moving the target over like that was not because he was doing what was right for the American people. He did it because he had an agenda. He had a personal agenda, and he was using the momentum behind that moment to pursue a personal agenda. So I think for black people, you got to understand, people use you for their agenda. And I'm not telling you not to be a part of any of that. I told y'all what I'm going to do. I always tell you guys, if I'm going to lead you to anything, let me lead you to freedom. Let me lead you to lead yourself. I'm not here to teach a student. I'm here to teach a teacher. So my goal is not to tell you what to do. I swear to God, I'm not doing that. Only thing I would tell you what to do is to do what's best for you. Do what's best for you and your family. And if you conclude that you feel good, if your gut tells you, voting for the Democrats makes sense to me, then by all means, show up at the polls and pull that lever and vote for the Democrats and wear a t-shirt that says, I voted that day, if that makes you feel better. But if you feel like it's a bunch of crap and you don't want to participate, then don't participate until you feel comfortable. Just like sex. They give women the right to choose when it comes to sex and abortion and all that. Well, black people should have the right to choose when it comes to who you vote for and when you vote. If you want to put on a MAGA hat and scream, make America great again, and go vote Republican, you can come to my event, come to me, talk to me with a MAGA hat on, and I won't even notice that you're wearing the MAGA hat, or I might just laugh about it and ask you about it, but I'm not going to judge you as a black person, because at the end of the day, what matters to me is, are you black enough? Are you committed to doing what you think is best for the community, and most importantly for your family? If you can do that, then you're down with me. Okay, so let's keep that in mind, and let's not get caught up in allowing these manufactured political parties who are proven to have a biased agenda control what it means to be black in America. I think that that's disingenuous. I think that's a problem. I think it's a mental illness, and I think it's a game they've been able to play on you because our self-esteem is so low. All right. So do me a favor, guys. Please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. If you want to learn, you guys know I'm a finance professor and I do investment seminars and stuff like that. But it always comes laced with blackness. I'm a black man who happens to be a finance professor. I'm not a finance professor who happens to be black. So if you want to come to one of our seminars, which are really popular, they're really, really good. We're doing one in New York on October 27th. It's going to be the last one I'm going to do for a very long time because I'm kind of done with this one. I want to chill out with the family for a little bit. But if you want to come out, go to drboycenewyork.com. That's drboycenewyork.com. I'll be there October 27th. I look forward to seeing you up close, giving you a hug, signing your books. Then we can talk investing and wealth building and all that. Because at the end of the day, all this stuff that I'm talking about here, and if you want to hear me talk about financial stuff, we have a whole YouTube channel for that, theblackfinancialchannel.com, theblackfinancialchannel.com. But at the end of the day, the thing is, all of this is just analysis and stimulation. It's what we academics used to call mental masturbation, right? Like we enjoy having these psychological backflips and kind of thinking things through and breaking things down and analyzing things. And I love to do that. But at the end of the day, what really matters, if you ask me what I think is most important for any black person in America and around the world, is get your money right, get your wealth right. Let me just tell you all a quick little story before I bounce up out of here. I went to see my aunt who suddenly lost my uncle. My uncle died suddenly in last November in a car crash. It was his 45th or 40th, I think 40 or 45th wedding anniversary. He called his wife, said, "I'll be home in 20 minutes." He never came home. He died that night. He hit some ice and something hit a car. He's dead. He's gone. Well, it was also his mother's birthday too, which makes it equally just triply tragic. Anyway, she was sitting and we were talking about the funeral and how she said, I did not know how much he had done to take care of us in case something happened to him. He had no, I did not know. I called the job to find out what life insurance policy he had. It turned out he had 2 of them. They called me from his job about the funeral and said, "Don't worry about paying anything. All the expenses are handled." And I thought that was so great, and I was so proud of him that he had made these plans for his family, because I remember just about maybe 12, 13 years ago talking to him after. I don't know if it was a bankruptcy or if he'd had a significant financial issue, lost a house or something like that. And I was kind of giving him a pep talk, like, "Hey, you can get this right. You can get this fixed. Like here's what you can do. Here's what I think, and don't give up." And I remember him being kind of sad about it. We were eating at Applebee's, and I was so proud to know that in the years that he had left, and he didn't know how much time he had left. He'd probably been stunned if he'd known that he was going to go out that soon, that way. But he was ready, man. And I was so proud of him because he's my relative that reminds me the most of myself. Like he's the most like me. The first picture I ever had in my life that I ever saw of myself as a baby was my mother holding me as a baby, and my uncle was right there with her, right? It was like us 3. Like that's the oldest picture I have. And the reality, the fact that he went out like a man like that made me just super proud. So everybody who's in here, if you're a man, please go out and be a real man. Make sure your family's taken care of. Make sure your kids are good. Ladies, same thing. Y'all know what it means to be a real woman, and I want to respect y'all for that. Also, if you're raising a son, please raise that son to be a real man. And his daughters too, right? We just all of it, right? We know we got to do it all. But at the end of the day, like I want to see our community. I think we have more real men and real women in our community than we'll be real people. And it won't matter if anybody likes us. What'll matter is that they're going to have to respect us because we're going to come together. We're going to show up with our shit together. Okay. So get your shit together, whatever it is, no matter where you're at. You might be overweight, broke, tired, whatever it is. You can always take baby steps, and so that's why I share with you pieces of my life. Believe me, it's very difficult when you have, trolls on the internet. They want to make fun of every little thing you do. But I share pieces of my life because I want to be a real man for you, right? I might be half crazy. I might talk a lot of shit. I might cuss a little too much, but I'm going to be real, and I'm going to be a man every step of the way until the day I die, until my casket drops. And that means loving the hell out of that black woman. That means taking care of my kids. That means being as intelligent as I can be. That means being as fearless as I can be. Also, it means getting my fat ass out here and jogging down the street and losing weight, and basically hopefully encouraging you to just get up and just do a little bit, make that little transition, whatever it is, right? So make your life better. That's that's what really matters, right? What I say doesn't matter unless you find a way to make your life better. So that's what I want for you guys, and I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. So you guys take care, have a good day. I gotta go. Alicia's been waiting for me. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Peace.